It is truly amazing what you can learn from the people, the things, and the actions around you. Sometimes you just have to stop and take a look. I've never been a particularly gifted runner, but I have always loved challenging myself. So when I found a passion for running, I knew that something like this was inevitable.
What I want to tell future me once I've done this is that as of right now, I don't know how well I am going to perform or how quickly I'm going to be able to do this, but I do know that I am going to be able to do it. I know that at the point when I would be rehearing this, that it would make me happy to know that I believed in myself and I believed that it was possible.
Alright, what's happened?
Yeah, so basically I burnt out. I had to come and get picked up. Knowing when to stop and what that means for future progress and when to regather what you're doing is really important.
When I first started and then set this goal, I knew I couldn't do it. Yet.
While today didn't go as I'd hoped for, I think I can take a lot of lessons from it and bring it into the rest of my training and the next time I do a run like this.
But as my passion became a habit, and my habit became a goal, I started to see growth and I started to see improvement. It wasn't going to be easy, but I was ready to give it everything I had.
How good?
You know, in life, they ask you what's gonna break. Your shoes, your body, one thing ain't gonna break, and that's your mind. You gotta put those calluses on. Who's gonna carry the boats? You're gonna carry the boats. Stay hard, run it, win it.
Oh, you know why? Because the ultra's starting in 5 minutes.
How long's the ultra?
50. And 4-minute 45 pace. That's the plan. And that's what we're doing.
The Marathon Festival atmosphere was electric. There was a buzz like no other. As my excitement started to build, I knew that this was the day I'd been preparing for. It was an incredible feeling.
You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. For me, when I first started training, I was not a fast runner. I've never been a good runner. I just knew that I had to start, and I wasn't running fast times. I wasn't running the splits that I knew I needed to be running, but I was getting out there and I was enjoying it. You have the least momentum when you first start. So right at the beginning, you'll be making the smallest amount of progress that you will be throughout the whole journey. Think about trying to push a heavy object. The hardest part is actually getting the thing moving. Once it's got a bit of momentum, it's a lot easier to keep it going, and it's the same with achieving your goals. That's when it's about putting one foot in front of the other and starting to develop a mindset of being present in the moment, focusing on what you're doing. Think about it in terms of any of your goals. If you're getting through a degree, just think about it by course or assessment by assessment, and be present in those moments. Every step, every kilometer, every checkpoint, I got into a rhythm of making sure that I was doing the little things right. People often forget this when they have lofty goals. If you want to do the big things right, you have to start by doing the little things right. Giving yourself recognition for each of those small little steps that you're taking is what turns them into something meaningful and what starts to build momentum. For me personally, while I was running, it was every kilometer. Every time I passed that flag, I told myself, you're one step closer to the finish. Because I was celebrating those little wins, when I got to the 13K mark each hour and I achieved that, I had an even bigger sense of satisfaction, and it continued to spur me on. The other thing to think about is that success isn't this big glamorous event. While there are crucial moments, success is actually just a lot of small, tiny little things, little habits, steps that you take along the way each and every day that get you closer and closer and closer to the end result. It's not glamorous, it's not sexy, but it's about appreciating each moment and each little bit of progress that you make. And running a marathon is a perfect metaphor for this. I was lucky that the Canberra circuit is not hilly by marathon standards, but there were some difficult times where I had to scale some hills. I learned a really crucial lesson here actually, that hills are like habits. You are pushing against what your body is used to, whether it's a physical habit, a mental habit, something to do with career, relationships, it doesn't matter. When you're starting to teach your body to do something different, when you're making it exert itself more, it resists. It doesn't want to do something that it's not used to. It's really important to keep pushing, because developing these habits are what is going to underpin your success later on. And the further you go, the more you train your body and mind to be able to implement that habit, the more you start to climb that hill, and it starts to flatten out and flatten out. And eventually, doing this new habit is second nature. And now it's a part of your identity. That's when you come over the cusp of that hill and fly down the other side. Because once you start to develop a set of habits, like running down a hill, it's actually harder to slow down than it is to just keep going. And so in times of challenge, in times of difficulty, when you don't really know what to do, you'll fall back onto those habits. Not only that, but once you start to climb hills and you get to the top of the first one, you realize that you can do it. And so you start to climb more hills and steeper hills, and you start to develop better habits. And this domino effect continues, because now you have the belief that you can do it.
I didn't realize you're getting better coverage than anyone who's ever done this event, right? Yeah, I know.
I heard something recently that really changed my perspective. It goes, you're either green and growing or you're brown and dying. And I started to think about this and what it meant. And it's true, if you have a plant, it's either green and starting to grow, or it's not, it's brown and it's not growing. So now I think back to my marathon experience, and when was I green and growing? I was green and growing when I was pushing myself, when I was struggling to run a faster time or to increase my distance. That's when I was developing, that's when I was building my mindset, my body. I think about other times in my life when I had big moments of growth, and it was often when I was put in situations where I was out of my comfort zone, where I was given that extra rope to sort of struggle and try and figure things out for myself. Inevitably, you will fail. We all do. And failure shouldn't have the negative connotation that we often associate with it. If you're giving it your all and you don't quite make it, that's a great thing. That means that you're on the frontier of your ability. You're pushing the boundaries of what you can do, and you should stick with it. And through that struggle, you will grow.
With training, like anything, it's not linear, and you do have to think about the end goal. You don't always make it. Things go wrong. So don't be afraid to accept that you're not always going to hit your benchmark every single time.
So next time you are finding something challenging, think about the positives that you can get out of it. I know that when I was running 20, 25 Ks in training and all I wanted to do was quit, I would think about the fact that this is preparing me for a big moment. This is preparing me to do something that I care about and something that I'm passionate about. Now I see myself doing it in other areas. When I'm studying, when I'm learning, when I'm working on relationships, any of your goals, whatever you're trying to achieve, Focus on really pushing those boundaries and embracing that struggle, because you might find that on the other side, it leads you to something fantastic. All those times when my legs were burning, when I felt like quitting,
I'll see you guys at the finish.
they're the times that I look back on and that I relish. I wouldn't be able to start this section without thanking all the people that were there to support me along the way. Sakshi, my family, friends, Oliver behind the camera, and anyone else that was there for me at any stage in helping me to become my best self and to become the best runner I could be. Having people around you that inspire and support you is the difference between succeeding at your goals and not. It starts with what you can give. To have the people around you that are there for you and want the best for you, you need to be there for others and want the best for others. I feel so grateful, special and humbled to have the people around me that I do on that day and every other day, because every single person who is meaningful in my life inspires me to be better, teaches me new things, and shows me new values and ways of being. Interestingly and ironically, on marathon day when I got to the end of the race, none of them were actually at the finish line. And there's an incredible lesson there. The whole day, from start to finish, they were all the way along the track, being a support network for me when I needed it most. I started to realize what that means about friendship and about family. It's not about being there at the end, when it's all said and done, when you've been successful. Who are the people that are there to support me in the difficult times? Who are the people that are just there at the end when everything's gone well? When I'm trying to be there for people, am I there for them when things are tough? Am I there for them when they need me? The people that were there on that day were there for me when I needed it. I hope that I'm there for them when they need it too. The thing about goals is they're often established to achieve a certain outcome, but when it's all said and done, the thing is that it's not about the outcome at all, really. It's about the journey, it's about the process. Michelle Obama says it's not about the person you become at the end, but it's about that process of becoming. It's important to remember that it's always going to be a work in progress. And yeah, you'll have little checkpoints where you feel success, and you should celebrate those small wins. In that journey, there will be hills, there will be struggle, there will be small wins, there will be big wins. Sometimes you'll fail, and that's okay. Enjoying the journey is just as much about being present in the moment as it is about not confining yourself to a certain goal. I set out a target to run a sub 3.5 hour marathon. If that goal had been the center of what I was trying to do, I never would have achieved what I did. Sometimes the goal can distract from the process, but the thing is the process is the part where you have the most growth and where you develop and become more capable of doing bigger and better things, of becoming a better person. So in running this marathon, I realized that it actually isn't about the finish line at all. In fact, finishing it was just another small win in the big spectrum of my life, of the person that I'm trying to become. It highlighted to me that life is about purpose. It's about doing things that give you satisfaction, that help you grow, but also that help others grow, that give others satisfaction, and that generally make life better for everyone involved. Jay Shetty states that purpose is made up of 3 things: compassion, passion, and expertise. In reality, you only really need 2. You need a passion for whatever you're doing, and you need to have care and compassion for whatever the outcome is or the people that are affected. If you have those, then you can learn and develop and grow an expertise in any sort of area, just like I did with running. That purpose, once you have that, you can implement that into all areas of your life. And just like my marathon experience, when you get to the end, that destination might not be anything like what you expected, but you feel satisfied and you feel fulfilled because the person that you are becoming is so much greater than you would have expected. What I implore you to do is to think about some of the things that I've talked about today. Implement them in a way that suits your lifestyle, that aligns with your purpose. When your passion, compassion, and expertise collide, then that's what you're meant to be doing. That's your marathon. Make sure that you treat it like one and enjoy every step of the way.
Whew. Whew, I'm feeling it. I'm burning. My legs are burning. Not far to go now. That